Hey guys, today we're going to be doing what if Koichi stayed in part 5, basically. If he joined the gang and helped out Bruno and Giorno and everybody. So this is a recommendation from the worst channel you have ever seen. And basically, the way this would change the story of part 5 is that Koichi would kind of act like a gateway to the rest of the series, because from what I recall, part 5 was a bit more separated from the rest of JoJo's in a way, because you didn't really see much of the older JoJo's showing up or anything like that. And I think it would be really cool to see Koichi act as like a kind of gateway to other previous parts of JoJo into part 5, and it would be cool to see maybe even Jotaro showing up, because I think Koichi, if he actually stayed there and joined the gang eventually, he would probably tell Jotaro what was going on, as he saw it firsthand, and I think he would be concerned enough to show up. So that could be really cool, in my opinion, to see Jotaro interact with Giorno and kind of explain his bloodline and everything with Dio and all that situation that happened in Stardust Crusaders. I think that would be really cool to see. It would be kind of similar to how he explained it to Josuke, but a bit different since Giorno's is more complicated, I guess you could say, of like a backstory sort of, because of the whole, you know, situation in parts 1 and 3 and everything like that with Dio. And so, yeah, I think that would be really cool to see in part 5 as like a connection between the old and the new. And yeah, I mean, Koichi's stand is really cool. I think the way it works, Echoes, I think was his name of the stand. I think it's like a provided a really cool base for the kind of evolving stand, I guess you could say, that Araki used in part 7 with Tusk, Johnny's stand. I think it was a really cool thing where there's different acts of the stand, and that's one of the things I really liked about Koichi's character. And yeah, I mean, he would just generally help out in most situations, I would assume. I mean, like in fights and everything. I mean, it would even be possible, I guess it would be possible for him to prevent some characters from dying. For example, Bruno. Let's say, hypothetically, Koichi and possibly Jotaro's involvement could stop Bruno from dying, and a few other characters like Narancha, I think he died. I watched part 5 a while ago. But yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to see, in my opinion, especially Jotaro and Polnareff reuniting after all that's happened in between this and part 3. I think that would be a really cool scene to play out. And yeah, I mean, other things like a battle between Jotaro and Koichi and the gang and everybody and Polnareff against Diavolo would be really entertaining to watch, I would say, watch or read. And yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty cool. We maybe would even see other possibilities of other requiems if it wasn't Giorno. Let's say maybe I don't think this would happen with like Echo's Requiem or something. I don't think that would happen. But Star Platinum Requiem, that's an idea against um uh King Crimson. That would be pretty cool to see. So yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing out some ideas, I guess, there, but I think it would be really cool to see that in part 5, and it would be like a cool connection between this and previous parts, because I quite like to see other JoJo's from different parts interact into like Joseph in part 3 and 4 and Jotaro in part 6. I mean, there is technically the possibility, if Jotaro is there, that Jotaro could die. Hypothetically, he dies in part 5 then, and he's not in part 6. Jotaro not being in part 6 would completely change the story. I mean, he would, uh, I mean, this was basically just ruin all of Poochie's plans if Jotaro was dead, because he was the main goal in reality. Without his memories, he would never find out how to do the heaven plan, and his whole plan would have failed before it would have even properly started. So I think Koichi being there would be really cool and important to the story to see as like a gateway to a huge amount of change in the story. And I mean, it could result in the whole of part 6 changing and the new universe not even happening if Jotaro dies there or something like that could happen. Giorno could be in part 6 then, because he'd have more interaction with Jotaro and maybe even no Jolene at that point. So I think it would be really cool to see. And Koichi could be a really cool, like, important gateway piece, I guess you could say, to cause all of that to happen. So I think that's one of the main things that would happen if Koichi was there in part 4, or part 5, I mean. But yeah, and he helps out, of course. Thanks for the recommendation. The worst channel you have ever seen. Bye, guys.